Hello everybody, I am AngryBird. Thanks for joining us once again. We have a new Steel Division 2 League game to cast. This time we are in Group 2. We have, let me bring up the full name. Where is it? Oh, it's Ortfine Fredericka von Eilstadt. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So he is playing Theoman222. We'll call him Ortfine Fredericka. He is playing 25th Panzergren, Vanguard Income. Theoman222 playing the new 1st Polish Infantry Division, also playing Vanguard Income. So this looks like it could be quite a good matchup. I'm excited to see the new 1st Polish Infantry Division once again, and 25th Panzergren quite popular at the moment amongst the players playing the Steel Division 2 League. So the players actually get, I think it's now, I'm not sure whether this was pre-rules or post Death of the Vistula update rules, but they get at least 3 division bans, so potentially that's why 25th Panzergren is quite popular, because it may well be one of the divisions that's kind of best of the rest. Certainly a sort of top mid-pack division. So looking at Ortfine Fredericka's deck, we have plenty of Stug 3Gs. Sort of a nice all-rounder deck. Certainly going to be relying on the ME410s in the air tab for the heavy tank duties, but certainly the 1st Polish Infantry Division, very much an infantry division, and so won't have a hell of a lot of heavy tanks to be taken out. The Pack 40s in Phase A, and then in Phase C, 8 Pack 40s should also help do that job. I think this one's going to come down to the infantry matchup, really. The Ort has the Panzergrens along with the Pioneers, and will that be enough to hold off the Polish infantry? Let's have a look at Theoman222's deck. He has the Su-57 in A phase, so it'll be decent to see that one come in. In terms of heavy tanks, no real heavy tanks. He has the T-34s. Potentially the SUs could be a challenge, but Ort definitely has the anti-tank weaponry to take those out. And if we have a look at Theoman's deck as well, look, he has the IL-2 cluster planes. So both sides going heavy on the anti-tank weaponry in the airplane tab, but really not actually needing them. So potentially these decks, they're put together to face other, as a general deck, so they'll have one deck for that division, and they're not really altering it for the matchup, but I'm sure they're very much used to this deck, and those IL-2s will still come in handy to take out the Stugs. Certainly infantry matchup wise, we said this is what it may well come down to. The Strelki CKM's very nice infantry, the Saperzy rocks in B phase, but Theoman actually, he doesn't have really a long game deck. So yeah, I think both sides, they've got the Vanguard Income. We're going to see a lot of infantry come in the early stage, potentially seeing how both sides deal with this if the game goes long. So let's have a look at the deployments. So on the left hand side we have Ortfine Fredericka. He is playing the 25th Panzergren in blue, and on the right hand side we have Theoman222, and I'm really excited to cast both of these players. Theoman, I watched a hell of a lot of his Steel Division 1 cast that Rangru and Khan did, and I really enjoyed watching Theoman play, so it's exciting for me to be able to cast him in Steel Division 2. And Ortfine Fredericka, well, I think he's an underestimated player, so we'll see how he gets on in this matchup against Theoman, because Theoman is I would say he's a seasoned player at this game. He certainly played a lot in Steel Division 1 and definitely, you know, may not be on that top rung of players where you've got Robert and Gonzo and, wow, the likes of Sean and Solo and Pixie joining them, but certainly a very, very, very good player, Theoman222. So we'll see how he gets on in this matchup. Right, so Ort. How is he approaching this? So in the south it looks like he's trying to get into that very southern forest, and in the north just taking up defensive positions. Let's have a look at Theoman. He is going to attack that northern side and the central city, so it'll be interesting. Not going for just 1 point of attack, he's going for 2. So let's see how these attacks come in. The SPW233 is just getting in position and maybe we'll fight off the Jeep units coming in. One of them goes down, but I think he's going to get into that city. The Flammenwerfers, they all unload, and the, well, it's going to be hard to pronounce those, but the flaming units for the Polish unload as well. So it's going to be a flame off in this central side. It looks like Ort has just gotten the lead with those SPW units providing the fire support along with the IG-18s. Yes, does just get away with it, and in come the SVT units, and these are in dangerous position now given what's happened. Both unloading, but I feel like they're going to get taken out. In the city, Theoman managed to push forward with his flaming units and has sort of gotten over the 50-50 line in this central city, but he potentially could make some ground there. Ort doesn't have a hell of a lot of units in that central city. He has made an attack in the south, and he is progressing through the forest and will pick up the flag and potentially the point there, the T-34E, providing fire across the river, but or across the lake. But yeah, the flaming units, they're pushing forwards, they're going to pick up this point. The M42 gun's not going to be able to stop them, only providing anti-tank shells. The PaK-38 lying in wait for other units to push forwards. Ort's picking up the early flag and gets the 13-11 lead. Has really secured this sort of northern city, and he has quite a few light recon units, the mainstay of these 25th Panzer Grenadier decks. Down goes one though in that central side. I think it was probably the M42 gun that took that one down, and actually in this central city all that's left is 2 Flammenwerf units. So if Theoman was able to launch an attack into that central area, he probably would be successful. Back down to this southern side, and look at the grouping of these units. If an artillery fire came in, then a hell of a lot of those units could go down. I don't think Theoman had any bombers, and wow, look at the infantry coming in on the side of Theoman. He wants to retake this point, and I'm not surprised by that. I think it is the right thing to do. Retake this point, set up your defensive line in this tree, in this sort of tree line along with this one, and I think Ort would find it a hell of a hard job to get back into there. So the T-34E retreating, and smoke has gone down. I'm not exactly sure why that was. Potentially it must have been this Stug 3G progressing forwards down the town, and that will help Ort to stabilise this central area. He needs to get maybe another unit of Panzergrens in there to resist any further movements forward. The artillery coming in immediately from Ort with the K331 French 105mm, and wow, immediately coming in and providing fire onto this 52P, and he's really taken down these support gun units from Theoman222. The Strelski CKMs moving forwards, and they are protected from the SPWs by this forest, and they should overtake that quite easily. And Ort, again, he's kind of got a little pocket of units, so could be vulnerable to some artillery fire if it does come in. The Su-76 has been brought forward on that northern side, and probably going to provide its own radio. It's got one in the centre as well, although is that acting more as an anti-tank unit? Yes, that is the tank destroyer version, so I'm assuming this one in the north. No, that's the artillery version. So in the centre it looks like Theoman pushing slightly forwards, that the Stug versus the T-34E, and then in the south the T-34E recognising there's no anti-tank on the infantry of Ort, and it's only the PaK-38 back here that does stress out the T-34, and then the surrender comes in, but the artillery fire now raining down on the advancing infantry. This could be an interesting fight. How will this win out? Will the artillery fire be enough? The Flammenwerfer's engaging, pinning down another Strelke unit, and there's one advancing round the side, but they've got to be in trouble. I feel like Ort has this one. The artillery is really helping him out pick up those surrenders. And artillery coming in the back line, the leader unit not far enough forward to prevent these surrenders. That's a bit of a mistake from Theoman. I'm surprised he's not bringing this leader unit forward, but potentially it's too late now. That artillery fire has been deadly on the side of Ort, and in comes the Yak-1Bs. And the fire coming down on the Pak 38 at the back there. Not accurate enough. I think it was this one here that's moved position, and there's only a light payload. Another one coming in, potentially to target the infantry, and it should take down those Stosstruppen. Yes, it does so. So actually, the forces of Ortfine have been whittled down. More Stosstruppen Panzer Grenadiers coming into play, but they're now taking fire from across the road or further north from the T-34E, and there's a bit of an engagement going on in the town at the same time as this southern approach, so pretty difficult micro for the two players. Flammenwerfer has gone down and the Panzergren's in trouble. With only Stoss troops supporting, Ort is in a difficult spot with these units. He still has the 1311. In comes the IL-2s targeting that Stug, but the Stug is reversing, and in comes the ME-109. Not enough to take out an IL-2. Very resilient unit, and look at the number of those cluster munitions coming down. The Stug stood no chance there. And will the ME-109 though be able to pick up the kill? Again, he's got another passing chance, but that IL-2, they're very tanky units, does stick around, and I don't think he's quite going to get another chance. In comes the Yak-1B fighters, and immediately an ME-410 being evac'd. Is that just in time? I think it is. Yes, I think they're just going to escape, and the Yak-1B's also being evac'd. Great airplay from both players there. Great little micro on their air units. In comes the Pak 40s supporting the Pak 38s, and definitely going to hurt Theoman. He's only got this T-34E on the sort of central city, but it's pushing forward. No anti-tank units on the side of Ort, and in comes two further strikes, taking down the Pak 40 there. Beautiful kill with those Yak-1B light bombers or fighter bombers. The T-34E discovered the Stoss troop and will take them out, and it looks like Theoman has taken control of this central city. Ort, he's trying to take back this very southern flag, but he's not managed it. It's back to a 12-12, and this is going to be interesting how it proceeds from this point. The Pak 38 taking shots against the T-34E, the other one further north is just having to be pulled back after the 52P was engaging from distance, and the Strelke, they've got into a decent position further up, but they won't be able to take on the SPW-223 unless they're using the they are using the PTRD anti-tank rifle, but I feel like in the long run they're going to lose out. This Pioneer's just unloading time. The shooter kill, the SPW-223, needs to reverse to avoid further anti-tank rifle at this point, otherwise it's going to get itself in trouble. The 52P raining down fire on the Pioneers, and those Pioneers are also in trouble. I feel if these two units go down, this is going to be a massive swing towards Theoman. Let's have a look at the central and southern sides. It's quieting down ever so slightly. Ort is just in control of this southern central flag, but he's going to find himself in real trouble. The SPW-233 has recovered and is now taking shots again against the Strelke. Does now pin it down, and I think that's going to win out in the long run unless these Strelke CKMs are retreated. I'm calling them Strelke units, but I'm hoping that's the right sort of way to pronounce these units. I'm not a hell of a fantastic guy at pronouncing units. I think you'll have already noticed that by now. Two more IG-18s coming into the northern side, and well, I'm kind of surprised they're going to the same spot, but I guess maybe once they're unloaded they'll spread out, or perhaps Ort will give them another, you know, positioning order. But yeah, kind of surprised they're going through to the same spot. It looks like it's quieting down in the north. It's kind of quieting down in the central. There's a nice position here from the Strelky CKM, but reinforcing Pioneers are definitely going to make it difficult for Ort to push further. The ME-109s engaging with the Yak-1Bs. It looked like another one of those Yak-1B fighter bombers had gone down, and the Flak 11 as well as the Flak 3820 getting involved. And Theoman now bringing out the 61k, but potentially a little bit too late. Could lose this Yak-1B now, and if he does, that's a massive blow. Looks like the ME-109 just couldn't quite get the turn. Does now get onto the back. Will he get a chance? I don't think he will. Does that plane go down? I think it just escaped. I think it just escaped. That was close. That was real close. So the Stug 3G in the south, it's kind of... Well, the M42 gun is firing at it, but if that M42 goes down, there's nothing really here that can take it on. The T-34E, again, I think this is another one advancing forwards for Theoman in the centre, and very, you know, not many tank units being utilised. Very much an infantry engagement at the moment, but then this map does favour the infantry battle. The Strelky CKMs have still alive, and I think the SPW 233 went down, so they've done their job. And Theoman, he's got a nice territorial gain here, but he's not got the flag, and that's the difference between ST1 and ST2. The territory, it doesn't really mean anything unless you've got these flags. The Pioneers, again, just unloading in time. Fantastic micro to make sure they're unloaded, but they're not in the greatest position right now. It looks like the IGs must have gone down in the transports, perhaps. Potentially there was an exchange of fire with the 52P at the back there. More 52Ps being brought in by Theoman, and the Su-76 artillery now getting involved and actually counter batterying the K331. So Theoman recognised that at the start the advantage that that artillery piece was providing Ort. You know, look at the artillery barrages that have happened on this flag. Ort is very close to gaining this flag, but still a 12-12 after an early lead by Ort, and really this is anyone's game at the moment. Anyone's game. The Stug 3G Führer coming in, tackling the T-34A and winning out, probably with the help of the Pak 3850mm there. And Theoman retreating the M3A1s after, I believe, probably they dropped off the Sapperzi here. But yeah, until these units get taken out, Theoman's going to find it a struggle to push infantry into this central town. I think he's decided to kind of reroute his forces a bit further north. You know, he has infantry in position here, so he knows he can get into that position. He just needs to affect this flag, really. Potentially some artillery coming down into this forest. I mean, by the way that the front line is held, he knows that there's infantry in this forest, so I guess it's just how much is there and whether he can take it on. Looks like the Sapperzi now are going to move in and potentially look to push forward into that forest, as well as the Strelky CKMs coming in the transports, potentially looking to reinforce this northern forest. And if he gets some artillery fire on this position, they could definitely go down. Potentially that's a flag he could win over. He has now finally taken this central city flag and does get the 1311, but there are enough Pioneers here to put a very decent defence together, and it's not over yet. The T-34E is gun jammed, so the SPW 233 will have the advantage. And in the south, the Stug 3G has gone down. We didn't see it. There's a T-3476 which immediately goes down as well to the Pak 3850. The airstrikes have calmed down, and both players now relying on the ground game to push forwards. Ort, he's definitely targeting this southern flag, but he's finding it difficult. Another Pioneer goes down in the central city, and once he gets rid of this Strelky CKM round, the flag should swing back in his favour, so potentially back to a 12-12. So here come the strikes once again, but the Flak 3820mm is doing its job. The strikes come down, and only 2 soldiers lost from the Panzergrens, but they are pinned down and kind of the attack is halted, so potentially done enough for Theoman. Wow, 3 231s coming in. We are midway through B phase now, but 3 SPW 231s coming into that southern area. The flag briefly changes back and forth here, and the Strelky CKM moving over the open ground, kind of just take a position to hold that flag, but I can't see them lasting in that position. We'll have to see how that one goes. The IL-2 now coming in, targeting the Stug. Ort is backing off. He doesn't want to lose this Stug, but the anti-air in the northern side is not there. Let's have a look at this strike. Will this one take out the Stug as well? Down goes the cluster munitions, and yes, down goes another Stug. But the ME-109 G4, surely, it just overruns. Will it be able to get back on target? But the fighter, the Yak-1B now being evac'd. Wow, how is this going to play out? Is he going to get on the back of this Yak-1B? That could be a terrible loss, but I think he's just too far away. Potentially could switch targets to the IL-2. That just gets out. I think, yes, will not make it. And the 61k. Wow, that was hell of a close evac there. I'm quite surprised Theoman chose to evac at that point. That was squeaky bum time, that was. So in the central area, another Yak-1B strike coming in. Theoman really favouring these light fighter bombers, and well, has been doing some decent work, but will it go down? The strike does come in and pins down more units. The ME-109 does get on the back of it and should go down. Yes, it does. So this 61k not enough right now, and it's quite far behind enemy lines. I'd like to see it move up further. Another one come in much further up. Theoman's really kind of secured the southern side now. I think Ort is going to find it incredibly difficult to push back into that area. So I wouldn't expect he'd target that. The ME-109 does go down, but will the Yak-1B as well? No. Although it's actually recircled. The automatic falling back hurts it. The ME-410 comes in and strafes the infantry. Will that Yak-1B go down? It's taken a hell of a long time, circling above the flak 38-20mm, but doesn't go down, and in it circles again, and then the ME-109 is coming forwards. Surely it's going down now. Yes, it does so. Theoman, I think he was slightly unfortunate the way that Yak-1B sort of kept circling. He has pushed Strelky forward, potentially looking to recapture this city, but Ort has kind of recaptured this central northern flag, but Theoman maintains the 13-11 right now, and he's kind of going to even up the count. The ME-410 is going to find it difficult. It's just strafing infantry, not really finding any armour to actually take on, and really an absence of armour on both sides, very much relying on their infantry to push forward this game. We've got the 231s kind of being held back at the moment. Really, I mean, this is a fantastic position. As long as nothing comes into this central forest, or into this southern city or southern town area, that's lovely. That will just take out infantry going across the open ground. So we'll see how that proceeds. Some infantry recon coming in here with the Zvodkoni. And let's have a look at the squad. So 2 PPSH, 9 Mozins and an MG42. So very much just fighting in, recon units there being used to just help out the number of infantry in there. More infantry coming into this central area, and Orts, he's not really pushed forward here. So right now I'm not really seeing, I'm seeing very much attacking plays from Theoman, but other than that very, you know, southern attack in the start of the game, I'm not really seeing the attacks coming in from Ort right now. It's very much Theoman on the advance and on the attack. A hell of a lot of infantry now coming into this northern area, and potentially this is where Ort wants to make the ground. He's been beaten back in the south and he's redirecting himself into the north, but they're all having to unload into this forest. So we'll see, will they be able to maintain? The fighters coming in and trying to strafe the 52p, trying to take away the supporting fire, but Strafing has been nerfed heavily since this game released, and really not so much an advantage now. So more infantry coming into this central town, and Theoman is targeting this central area, and he has the units now to deal with this. I'd like to see Ort react and bring in more, because I don't think he can hold on with just the units that he's got there at the moment. Down goes a Pioneer, the flag swings, and it's 13-11 to Theoman once again. This game is back and forth so far, and we've just made it into C phase now. 20 minutes on the clock, and if the game continues as it is, Theoman will pick up the victory in 27 minutes. Definitely a hell of a lot of opportunity for this game to change. And look at this, look at the way the infantry are moving across the open. I'm quite surprised by this. I feel like maybe, well, I think maybe a lot of the supporting guns have been taken out now. And potentially Ort's setting himself up for a win in the long run by taking out all of the support weaponry from Theoman. These Sappersi, they're going to go down any minute now, and this central city very much in the control of Ort. And I would like to see Ort push through with the units that he's got here. He's got the SPW233s as well, and the Stug 3G just in the south, so yeah, I'd like to see maybe Ort target that northern section. He's got to defend this central area. I mean, he's lost the flag, he's lost the city. Maybe he just sets up another defence further back and holds off any further movement forward. But he's going to have to pick up a flag somewhere. And to me, it seems like he's going to make progress in the north. He's got to bring in these Pioneers. He's got to get them unloaded before this T-34E can engage. And before these Strelki can move up. They're now under fire. Does unload them all at once. And, well, it looks like the IL-2's coming in on the south. Takes out another 2 units. But, again, the ME-109 kind of just overrunning and struggling to get the agility of that plane to get on the back. And, he is now getting on the back of the IL-2, but I'm not sure. I'm expecting a fighter to come in from Theoman. He is chasing down this kill. The 61k engages. Will he get the kill? Yes, he does. Will he get away with it? I mean, potentially Theoman could just sneak in a fighter right now and take down the ME-109, but probably doesn't have one available to him. So Ort does get away with that kill, and destroying those IL-2s will, you know, help him in the long run, just to keep his lighter tanks on the ground. He doesn't have really anything stronger than a Stug 3G, so just needs to keep them alive. The Pioneers, under pressure now, weren't able to get into the city before unloading. And the Pak 40 looking to engage the T-34E. Immediate crew panic. Will that one go down? Doesn't go down to the second shot, but the transmission damage, and it may well reverse out of line of sight here. No. Does get the kill in the end. The Pak 40 though is revealed, and I expect to see Theoman target it in the future. The ME-410 coming in to target the T-34s. Will it come away with a nice little kill list here? So, only gets the driver kill, and Theoman just reversing these units down the road. I'd like to see him reverse off to the sides and maybe use the buildings to block the line of sight from the ME-410 attack. In comes the Yak-1B. Will it get the kill? The ME-109 comes in as well, but the agility of that plane is struggling. The Yak-1B falling back, but falls back right into the path of the ME-109, and surely that's another kill. So it feels like Ort has really secured the air now. He's had a number of kills over the past sort of 5 minutes, and I really feel like he has secured the air game now. We'll have to see how that proceeds. So he did use his Panzergrens to push up further, but Theoman was reacted with a hell of a lot of infantry, and I'm sure he's going to hold that position. Ort needs supporting units in there. You know, Stugs in this area here would be perfect. He's only got to worry about the M42 guns, but I guess that's what we can see. He doesn't necessarily know that. the Su-76 tank destroyer coming in. That will help out along with more T-34-76s, so I feel like this northern side is getting shut down now. This game, we're at a 13-11 for Theoman, so he has just taken the lead and he will win in 23 minutes time, but this is still anyone's game, and it feels like the artillery coming in now from Ort. Is the artillery going to make or break this game? Potentially it could do so. He now has the SK-18 100mm to help out, and that is certainly a great artillery piece at counter battering as well, but the Su-76s will stand up well to counter battery so far. More artillery raining down. I think that's Ort's best bet in the long run to try and hold back, and he has managed to push forwards in this central town. The work from the ME410 kind of took the T-34s out of action, and the Stug 3Gs managed to come in, as well as the SBW-231. The infantry's gone down. Looks like the flag is going to come under the control of Ort, and he's reinforced this southern side. There's not a hell of a lot here from Theoman, but there's just enough here at the moment to hold off troops, but he's going to need to reinforce this southern side as well. In comes the MEs to strafe the Zis gun, taking down 2 soldiers, but pinning down the unit, that's enough to take the pressure off for now. So actually, when these units go down, I mean, he has the infantry unit here that's not been revealed, but other than that, the Zis 3 is its only weapon in this southern side. So previously, Theoman had this area well under his control, but I feel like he's pushed forward to try and make gains, and his units have been picked off, and now actually Ort doesn't know it, but there's nothing really here. He could easily push through this position. In comes some reinforcing units, but 1 infantry unit is not going to be enough. Theoman bringing more infantry into that central town as well, trying to recover this flag that's been lost, and we're back to a 12-12. Literally anyone's game right now. Not quite sure how this one is going to swing. The infantry coming in from Ort is helping him to kind of pick off the units, kind of lower the strength of them so that his infantry can engage on favourable odds. Definitely helping him so far. Ort not quite being able to shut down the artillery, and more units coming in now, so I feel like Theoman needs to get some counter battery work back on. The ME is coming in again to strafe the Zis 3 and again get the pin down. Still around, but it's just enough to kind of take the pressure off. And this is a T-34 in the centre, currently sort of holding back this entire attack, but once they get past this T-34, these 2 units here, there's not a hell of a lot left. The fight is now strafing units in the centre, and yeah, down goes the T-34 to the ME410. Ort definitely has control of the air, and he's using it to his advantage right now. I feel like he has the control of the artillery. You know, he's won the artillery battle, he's won the air battle, and he's now making Theoman pay. The 52k 85mm flat gun will help him out, but I'm still unconvinced about the efficiency of these flat guns. A hell of a lot of infantry coming into the centre. Will the Stug 3G be able to take down some units before they unload? No, they just unload in time. Theoman's definitely reinforced his area, and if he can take down this Stug 3G, he has enough here to get this flag back, and potentially doesn't even need to do that. So still a 12-12. All's quiet on the northern front now, and it's the south where the action is happening. So the Stug 3G sort of doing its best to hold units off. The artillery being redirected now into this town, and I feel like if that artillery wasn't there for Ort, then he'd be having a much worse time of this game. I think it's been there from the very start, and he's kept them resupplied, he's kept them operational, he's kept using them, and really it's kept him in this game. More artillery coming into this sort of northern ridge line, and just whittling down unit after unit. The Pioneers should win over the Strelki in this position, and although the Strelki will probably beat these first Panzergrens, they probably won't beat the Pioneers in reserve, so I don't think Theoman's going to make progress in that northern side. He has recaptured the flag. It's back to a 13-11 in the centre, but he's only just holding on to it, and I feel like a couple of artillery shells come in and these units are going to go down, so that flag is probably going to, you know, it's probably going to be lost for Theoman, so we could well be back to a 12-12 any minute. Yes, the one set of infantry pinned down and surrendered, and there goes down the Strelki, and the flag changes back again. We're back to a 12-12. This is anyone's game right now. I feel like over the long run though, Ort is ever so slightly winning out. I feel like efficiency wise he is killing more of Theoman's infantry while he's not really exposing his as much as Theoman is. So Theoman, he's moving his infantry across the open, and it's really giving these Panzergrens and Pioneers the chance to take them down because they're in heavy cover, whereas Theoman's are out in the open. And don't forget the artillery fire continuing to rain down on Theoman's infantry. I feel like there's going to be a point where he runs out, and maybe Ort is playing for that. Maybe he's playing the longer game. He's just waiting for Theoman to run out of infantry before, you know, making the final push. The flag, it's been recaptured by Theoman, but again, I feel like as soon as this Strelki infantry goes down, then that will be under the control of Ort once again. Ort having to retreat his Strelki in the centre. The artillery still coming down, and more infantry coming in, so he still has the infantry at this point in time. The crew kill on the Stug 3G from the Su-85 at the back, and that's quite a nice position there actually. You know, just using the Su-85 just down in this position can really help zone out this supply road here. Really nice positioning. So artillery taking down another unit. Theoman's infantry's been whittled down once again. I mean, he has more on the way, but I feel like he just keeps bringing more in. They get whittled down, taken out, and then he brings more in, and slowly but surely Ort is winning the long game. And it's back to 12-12. Down goes an M42 gun in the north, but the SPW was crew killed, and there are enough units there to take on the Stugs, but the Pioneer take down the Strelki, and the other one, as predicted, it took out the Panzergrens but didn't win out against the Pioneers. So Theoman hasn't really gained anything, and Ort is just holding a defensive line, and he's kind of holding out right now. I guess he's going to wait until he feels like he has enough units on the ground to just push through and roll over Theoman. I feel like that's the tactic that Ort is going for. Down goes the recon unit, and that was doing a nice job sort of holding that flag position. I mean, it wasn't holding the front line, but it was letting Theoman know what was there, and the Strelki moved forwards, but the Su-85 has a nice position now. Will it be able to take out the Stug? It does get incendiary damaged, and wow, takes out the SPW in the rear, so the Stug 3G didn't have line of sight on it. And what took that down there? Wow, I'm not exactly sure what took down that SU. Let's go to our replay and let's find out. Can we see what took out that Su-85? So the Stug got the incendiary. There was a second Stug there that took it down. So it was the second Stug that took down that Su-85. Wow, I didn't notice this second Stug in the town, and I was concentrating on the Stug 3G in the back, and the artillery continuing to rain down. The more Panzergrens coming in, and it feels like it's just a meat grind at the moment in the central city. At some point, I feel like Ort is going to be able to push forward and take out these units. especially with the help of these Stug 3Gs, because other than the infantry AT, there's not a hell of a lot here now for Theoman. He's got the SU-85, he maybe needs to bring that. Well, it's difficult because Ort also has the Pack 40s. I'd like to see maybe... I quite liked that position that he had earlier, and maybe we'll see him retake that position, but this Pack 40 here is doing a very good job. And the artillery for Theoman, he has the SU-76s that are actually targeting that Pack gun, so he recognises the damage that Pack gun's doing, but I don't know, does he have a radio down here? It doesn't look like it. He has the radio on the DCA, but will that be enough? Potentially, I think is just enough to provide radio coverage. So we'll see how accurate that SU-76 artillery is. Yeah, it does look fairly decent on the previous position that Pack 40 gun was in. More Stugs coming in, so looks like Ort is targeting this southern side for a push here, and infantry moving across the open, the Stugs moving as well. Let's see how this one works out for Ort. The SU-76 engaging and crew kills the Stug 3J, beautiful work there. Will it get a second chance? Spalling does get a second chance, transmission damages and others, but I feel like it's going to go down now. Yeah, it does go down with the fuel explosion. So really, that was the only unit down in this southern side left to hurt these Stugs. I mean, it did crew kill one and transmission damage the other, so they are going to have a hard time now, but Theoman's having to rely on his infantry, and the Panzergrens, they picked up the flag, the 1311 now on the side of Ort, and he will win the game in 25 minutes if given the opportunity to proceed. Taking shots across the way at the Pioneers, and more infantry coming into this central town. It looks like Ort's now targeting this one as well. I feel like he's done with the waiting game. He's now going to advance forwards. He's decided the time is right for him to make progress. The Stug 3G getting gun jammed and reversing back there. The SPW233 needs to follow. Well, that's crew killed, so no reversing for that one. But the artillery now targeting that M42 gun, and yeah, I feel like Theoman didn't get a handle on Ort's artillery earlier. Could have done with some counter battery. He initially started it, and look, Ort is now engaging in counter battery of his own, but the SU-76 is easily going to move forward and avoid that. But I feel like this initial artillery battle in the southern side highlighted the danger, and Theoman picked up on that and started counter batterying, but he didn't continue. And maybe that's let him down in the long run. The Panzergrens engaging, and I think due to the numbers we'll probably win out against the Theoman's infantry, especially if the Stug 3Gs can get involved. We'll see how that proceeds, but a hell of a lot of orders of more T-34s coming in. This could be it for Ort. If he gains the flag in this central city as well, I think he could gain enough of an advantage here. The Strelky CKM having to be retreated, but the Battery Fuhrer could get discovered here and do so. Do come under fire from the Stugs though, so will lose out those units. I think the Battery Fuhrer will stand out in the long run. The Panzergrens, they are on the chase of these Strelky. And yeah, the SDK have said 7-1 now getting involved. Exceptional use, pushing that unit forward, because, well, the M30, did that take a shot there? That could have taken a shot. He was actually already microed, so that could have taken out the SDK have said, but yeah, he's going to use that, move it forward and defend against any airstrikes. But Theoman's Air Force really whittled down earlier in the game. And the counter battery again from Orcs coming in and targeting those Halbika M30s. I really feel like the momentum is on the side of Ort now, and Theoman, I think he's going to struggle right now. Potentially, you know, he didn't get enough efficiency out of his units. Hell of a lot of Panzergrens here moving across the open. He has the 13-11, will win the game in 22 minutes, so Ort definitely on the attack, and I think he's going to win out on this one in the long run. Is unload and do reveal the Strelky in that bottom side, but Theoman I think put them back onto hold fire. I'm sure they fired at that transport. In comes the ME410, but circling back away, I think he lost line of sight over the T-34s there. The T-34's advancing on the Stug 3G now. One gets crew panicked, and he's actually moving forwards despite being crew panicked, so that was interesting to watch. The Stug 3G getting the driver kill on the T-34. I think this engagement is really important. One going down to the fuel explosion. 2 M42 guns coming in, so that will really help Theoman out, and I think he's going to hold out this position, but I don't think he's going to have enough here to push back. The ME410 again coming in, but perhaps losing line of sight again or being evac'd out of the way. If you're hearing that, I think that is my dog in the background just making some noise, so hopefully that's not too off-putting. But we'll continue with the cast for now. So the Stug 3J taking down another T-34-76, and is now being retreated, so I don't think Ort wants to press that position. He's picked up the flag, and that's good enough for him. Panzergrens pushing forwards in this central city. They're going to take out these Strelky, and this flag also under trouble now, so I think Ort is probably going to pick up this flag. The Pak 40s taking shots at the advancing T-34s, and are they just now out of line of sight? That last one just managed to get itself out of line of sight before being transmission damaged, and also now loader killed. But the Sappersi, all that's left in the way of Ort, and it looks like they're going to go down any minute now, and the flag is probably going to flip to him as well, potentially taking him up to a 14-10. I think this attack is really going to seal the game for Ort right now. The gun jam going in on the T-34-76. There's a hell of a lot of units just gun jammed here, you know, the criticals have been harsh. More artillery I think that was coming down, and heavier caliber artillery this time as well. The Sappersi just being ignored by the Panzergrens, who are just pushing through, and the Stug 3G probably going to tackle them. So Theoman just moving through with units. They're not really being able to capture this southern side again, although more infantry coming in now and will help him out there. He's going to struggle to take back this flag with the supporting Stugs that Ort has got, and this flag as well. As soon as these Sappersi go down, this flag's definitely going to go into control of Ort, so it's going to be another flag that he's able to take. We're just waiting for those Sappersi to go down. All of Ort's units are just bypassing it and just taking positions in the town. Will it go down? It will do eventually. There it goes, the flag switches over, and Ort's Panzergrens, they are getting in a nice position on the edge of this town, and the T-34s are gun jammed. They can't take on these Panzergrens that are advancing in the open. The Strelky will go down as well. So interesting, very interesting battles here. These gun jam T-34s, they need to be retreated, and a supply truck needs to come in, but Theoman will really be struggling with his income right now. And the Pak 40 I think took a pot shot, was it? No, the Stug 3G taking shots. One of them taken down by the Stug 3G, now coming round the outside, and those T-34Es, they can't reply with the gun jam, so Ort has completely taken control of the central town, and potentially he's going to push forward and take on this sort of rear compound in the centre as well. So I think that's, yes, another one swinging in his favour. He now has the 59. Will pick up the victory in less than 10 minutes time. The Strelky having to unload early, and in the face of Stug 3Gs I don't think they're going to be able to push forwards. The artillery still raining down on this southern side, helping Ort to hold this southern flag. I feel like the momentum is definitely with him now. If he can make more ground in this central area, well, I I think that's it. The M42 revealed and gun jams the Stug 3G. At least that's one less Stug 3G for Theoman to worry about. But he has another Stug 3G here, just firing on that the infantry that's unloaded, so he's not going to be able to push forward with this strokey infantry. The other infantry in the south, it's all bogged down in the face of the artillery fire, and Ort, he's done a very good job of setting himself up into a decent defensive position in A and B phase, and bringing out the artillery, hammering Theoman's units, and just over time really using the efficiency of his artillery and his air force to his advantage. More Stug 3Gs coming into the south. I think this is definitely a pivotal point now. The IL-2 coming in to take on this Stug 3G in the centre, but it's not going to be enough. There's two Stug 3Gs in a bad spot, and it gets crew killed and then immediately taken out. Yes, it does, taken out by the IL-2. Will the IL-2 go down? I feel bad for Theoman there, because the tank being targeted by that IL-2 was crew killed, I think probably by the Halberka M30 just before the cluster munitions were used. So if he'd have been able to micro it onto this more southern Stug 3G, he could have got a 2v1 there, which would have been better, but unfortunate for Theoman that he wasn't able to do that. So he's still trying to take back this southern flag here. Still trying his best to do that. The 52k just inching forward, inch by inch, more infantry coming in, but I feel like it's not going to be enough for Theoman. He's not being able to take down these supporting Stug 3Gs, and that's what's going to do the damage for him. He can win out in the infantry, but he's losing out against the Stugs and against the artillery at the rear. So just infantry versus infantry battles, winning those is not going to be enough. The 61k now firing at the Stug 3G, and it's not going to do fantastically well. The Stug 3G is concentrating on other units though, so he's just there tanking that 61k 37m damage. Look at the shots raining down on that Stug. So more Panzergrens coming in, and eventually these Stroker that are far forward will get taken out. The artillery raining down on the infantry coming in, and Theoman, I think, is in real trouble now. Ort picks up this central, sort of rear central flag. Potentially will push through with these Panzergrens as well to pick up another one. We could see a 16-8, but currently Theoman's got 6 minutes left on the clock to turn this around. I can't see him re-attacking in this northern side. I don't think there's enough there, and also in the centre, other than picking up these two flags, I can't see him, making further advances forwards. I think this is it for Theoman. 16-8 now, 6 minutes still left on the clock, but I'm not sure where he's going to regain the ground. We're just waiting for Ort really to deal the hammer blow. And I think it's coming through in this southern side right now. The advance of the Stug 3Gs. Really look at the infantry that's falling back on the side of Theoman. The T-34s, if these go down, potentially the 52k, that's the only thing left as well. But infantry advancing in front of the Stug 3Gs, textbook plays, absolute textbook plays. So that 61k is now being targeted by the artillery. The Stug 3G did go down, probably from this 52k here, firing northward. And wow, the Stug bailing out one of the T-34s. The other 52k went down. What an important kill that was. The other one got jammed. Yeah, Theoman surrendering. It all came down on those units as to whether he was going to hold out or not. But Theoman surrenders. 48 minutes, 53 seconds. Fredericka picks up the victory, and great game, back and forth that at the start, but I think after about 30 minutes in, when Ort had dealt with the air force of Theoman and had his artillery set up, he really had won out in the long game. And yeah, after about 30 minutes you couldn't really see Ort losing this game. Wow, look at the kill the kills to losses ratio. 5,000 kills to Ort versus 3,000 losses, and I think that's probably the artillery fire coming in, or the supporting fire. He really used his units textbookly well. I mean, he had the infantry advancing in front of the Stug 3Gs, and then the artillery firing from the rear, and yeah, really textbook plays. Fantastic game to watch. If you want to watch this game, you want to learn how to play this game better, definitely take a look at how Ort played this game really well. He played it really well. Let's have a look at the kills on the side of Ort. The Pak 38 gun coming in early, taking out that SU-57 and the SU-76, as well as the half-tracks, taking out those supporting units from Theoman. The Pak 38 here as well. Look at the kills that one got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T-34s. So excellent work from that Pak 38. I feel like, I'm not sure whether that was in the northern side or in the southern side, but a hell of a lot of kills there from that Pak 38-50. Excellent work. The ME-109, fantastic work as well, taking out 4 Yak-1Bs, 2 fighter bombers, 2 standard fighters. Beautiful work. The Pioneers doing excellently against the infantry of the 1st Polish. The French K-30 or the K331 105mm, taking out those supporting 52Ps and the 61K at the end. That artillery, you know, focused on the supporting units, taking away that supporting fire, and then once it managed that, focusing on the infantry and taking down those infantry units. So we have the K532 French 220mm as well in the rear, that taking down the infantry towards the latter stages, and yeah, that allowed the, you know, units like the Panzergrens to take out infantry one-on-one without any supporting fire. Look at this Stug 3G taking out the SU-85. That was the one where we had the instant replay come in, so that was the one in the centre town, and the veterancy, the 3-star veterancy on that unit certainly would have helped it. Look at the numbers it's taken out. The SU-85, 2 M3A1 half-tracks, T-34s, 3 T-34s in total, so beautiful work. Another Stug 3G taking out another SU, so yeah, fantastic work, real fantastic work from Ort. Exceptional game to watch. Let's have a look at the kills for Theoman. Those Yak-1Bs in the early game, they did take their toll, and the IL-2 as well, taking out 2 Stug 3Gs, 2 SBWs. I think if Theoman would have been able to maintain his air force, he would have had, you know, a chance. I think early game, I think Theoman was doing the attacking and his air force was really helping him, you know, push forwards. But once Ort had dealt with that air force, there wasn't more coming from Theoman to support his units, and I think if that air force would have been able to stick around, maybe Theoman would have had a much better chance at winning this game. Yeah, and then the IL-2 at the end getting the Stug 3G kill, which was unfortunately crew killed literally seconds before releasing those cluster munitions. So unfortunate that he kind of it was a waste of the cluster munitions almost. He could have retargeted that, but you know, Theoman, there was no way for him to do that in time. So fantastic game. I really enjoyed casting this one. Hopefully you did too. I think we're going to check out the this was game number 1. I think we're going to be able to check out game number 2, so that, look forward to that coming up. Hopefully you've enjoyed the cast. If you have, drop me a like. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so you don't miss any action. We are in the process of getting the Discord set up. Hopefully it will be done by the time this video releases. And check out the description, there'll be a link in there. Join it, we'll be able to chat about the games. You can ask me any questions. You can potentially, well, I'm looking at more things that we can do, look at maybe some community casts, things like that. So yeah, definitely lots of changes coming up, more exciting news that I'm not quite ready to release but we'll do soon. So lots of hints coming your way, but hopefully you enjoyed this. Thanks very much for watching. I am AngryBird. I will see you next time.